So good morning, students. So in the previous class, we discussed some of the chemical properties of alcohols, and we are discussing about oxidation of alcohols. So oxidation of primary alcohols we discussed in the last class. See, oxidation of primary alcohols in the presence of mild oxidizing agents like PCC or PDC or CrO3 gives aldehydes. Whereas the oxidation of primary alcohols with a strong oxidizing agents like acidified KMnO4 or acidified K2Cr2O7 gives carboxylic acids with the same number of carbons. What the aldehyde formed and carboxylic acid formed here both contains the same number of carbon atoms. Okay, right. Now let us see the oxidation of secondary alcohols. So I'll take the general equation here. RCHROH. This is the general formula for secondary alcohol. So it's oxidation of secondary alcohols in the presence of mild oxidizing agents like CrO3. Then use ketones. Here hydrogen get eliminates. Then we can get RCOR, which is nothing but a ketone. So oxidation of secondary alcohols with a mild oxidizing agent like CrO3 gives ketones with the same number of carbon atoms. And the same reaction we can also carry out with by using either PCC or PDC. In the last class I told you, PCC means pyridinium chloride. PDC means pyridinium dichromate. So in the presence of any one of these oxidizing agents, secondary alcohols are oxidized to ketones. Then what is the advantage of this PCC or PDC? So the advantage of using this PCC or PDC is, so this PCC or PDC can oxidize the alcohols to corresponding carbonyl compounds without affecting the unsaturation of the given compound, either a primary or secondary, whatever it may be. Let us take an example. I'll take here CH3, so CH2 double bond CH, CHOH, CH3. So this is a secondary alcohol with unsaturation. So if you are using any one of these, either PCC or PDC in this reaction, then oxidation of this alcohols takes place without oxidizing this double bonded carbon atom. Means without affecting unsaturation, either double bond or triple bond, whatever it may be. Without affecting the unsaturation in the given compound, secondary alcohols are oxidized to ketones in the presence of either PCC or PDC, pyridinium chlorochromate or pyridinium dichromate. Then what you will get here, CH2 double bond CH, CO, CH3. Let us see what is the name of this compound. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bute 3 2 ol. So bute 3 2 ol, and this is oxidized to bute 3 in 2 ol. So the advantage of using this PCC or PDC is, this PCC or PDC can oxidize secondary alcohols or even primary alcohols also, both, without affecting the unsaturation. So if you want to reduce unsaturated alcohols, if you want to oxidize unsaturated alcohol, you should use either PCC or PDC. So this is regarding oxidation of secondary alcohols in the presence of mild oxidizing agents like CrO3 or PCC or PDC. Now, what about oxidation with strong oxidizing agents? Same, R, CH, OHR. So this secondary alcohol on oxidation in the presence of a strong oxidizing agent acidified K2Cr2O7, or we can also use acidified KMnO4 by H2SO4. This is so oxidation of secondary alcohols in the presence of acidified KMnO4 or K2Cr2O7. Then secondary alcohol is first oxidized to ketone or COR with the same number of carbon atoms. Now, what the ketone formed here, this ketone can undergo further oxidation in the presence of same K2Cr2O7. What the ketone formed here, that ketone undergo further oxidation and gives carboxylic acid with a less number of carbon atom RCOOH. So this is general equation. Let us take an example here now. CH3 CHOH and then CH3, and this on oxidation in the presence of acidified KMnO4 or K2Cr2O7. First, this is nothing but a isopropyl alcohol. This is isopropyl alcohol, and this isopropyl alcohol on oxidation in the presence of acidified KMnO4 or K2Cr2O7. First, this isopropyl alcohol is oxidized to acetone, CH3COCH3. Acetone will be formed, and this acetone can undergo further oxidation. See, oxidation of alcohols takes place according to Popov's rule. What that Popov's rule is? So during oxidation, the cleavage of CC bond takes place. Carbonyl group and carbon of alkyl group. This bond or this bond cleavage takes place. So here two groups are same. Suppose in any case if two different groups are present, then the cleavage of this COC bond takes place in such a way that the carbonyl group is retained with a smaller alkyl group. So here either like this or like both you can take. Suppose in any case if different groups are present here, then the carbonyl group will be retained with a smaller alkyl group. In such a way the cleavage of CC bond takes place. For example, if you take CH3 CO C2H5, this is an unsymmetrical ketone. In case of unsymmetrical ketone, the cleavage of bond takes place in such a way that the carbonyl group is retained with a smaller alkyl group. That means this bond cleavage takes place. Since here it is symmetrical, either this bond or this bond, either can cleave, both will be the same product. Now this oxidation of this ketone, this CH3CO group is oxidized to CH3COOH, and this methyl group is oxidized to give a formic acid HCOOH, but this formic acid undergo further oxidation to give a H2O and CO2. So overall the oxidation of acetone gives acetic acid. Now see here, secondary alcohol on oxidation first gives ketone. Ketone and alcohol contains the same number of carbon atoms, and this ketone on oxidation gives carboxylic acid. And what the carboxylic acid formed here, this contains a less number of carbon than ketone. See here, ketone contains 3 carbons, but acid contains only 2 carbon atoms. So overall, secondary alcohols on oxidation with a strong oxidizing agent gives a ketone with the same number of carbons, and that ketone can undergo further oxidation to give carboxylic acid with a less number of carbon atoms. This is regarding oxidation of secondary alcohols. See once again, Oxidation of secondary alcohols in the presence of mild oxidizing agents like CrO3 or PCC or PDC gives ketones. The advantage of using this PCC or PDC is these can oxidize the alcohol without affecting the unsaturation in the given compound. Then oxidation of same secondary alcohols in the presence of strong oxidizing agents. First give ketone with the same carbons, and that ketone undergo further oxidation to give a carboxylic acid with less number of carbon atoms. This is regarding oxidation of secondary alcohols. Now come to the oxidation of tertiary alcohols. So oxidation of tertiary alcohols. R, C, R, R, OH. See, tertiary alcohols does not undergo oxidation readily. Tertiary alcohols are not oxidized by mild oxidizing agents. Whereas tertiary alcohols can be oxidized by only strong oxidizing agent, that too at drastic conditions. There is a high temperature and high pressure conditions only. Tertiary alcohols cannot be oxidized easily, as this means OH bonded carbon does not contain hydrogens. Tertiary alcohols cannot be oxidized. This tertiary alcohols can be oxidized in the presence of strong oxidizing agents like a K2Cr2O7, which is acidified, or KMnO4 under drastic conditions, means high pressure and high temperature conditions. Then first this tertiary alcohol is oxidized to ketone, and then this ketone undergo further oxidation to give carboxylic acid. So tertiary alcohols on oxidation with strong oxidizing agents first give ketone, and this ketone undergo further oxidation to give carboxylic acid. Let us take an example here. Tertiary butyl alcohol I am going to take here. This is tertiary butyl alcohol. Right. So this tertiary butyl alcohol on oxidation in the presence of acidified KMnO4 first gives a ketone, and that is nothing but a CH3COCH3, which is nothing but acetone. Acetone is formed, and this acetone undergo further oxidation to give a acetic acid CH3COOH. So tertiary butyl alcohol on oxidation gives acetone, and this acetone undergo further oxidation to give acetic acid. This is regarding oxidation of tertiary alcohols. Now if you observe here, this alcohol contains 4 carbons, whereas ketone contains only 3 carbons, whereas the carboxylic acid contains 2 carbons only. Means tertiary alcohol on oxidation gives ketones with less number of carbons, and that ketone on further oxidation gives carboxylic acid with less carbons than even ketone. So this is regarding oxidation of tertiary alcohols, right? Then so this oxidation of alcohols can be used as a test to distinguish a primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. Let us see how this reaction is used to distinguish primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Addition. See primary alcohol. RCH2OH. This is a primary alcohol. This is a primary alcohol on oxidation with a strong oxidizing agents, nothing but K2Cr2O7 by H2SO4. First it gives RCHO, and this undergo further oxidation to give RCOOH. This is oxidation of primary alcohols. We take secondary alcohols, RCHOHR, and this on oxidation with acidified KMnO4. First we can get RCOR ketone, and this on further oxidation gives RCOOH. This is secondary alcohols. If we take tertiary alcohols, RCRROH, a tertiary alcohol, and this on oxidation first gives a ketone RCOR, and this ketone on further oxidation gives RCOOH. Then see how to distinguish this. Primary alcohols on oxidation use aldehydes with the same number of carbon atoms, and this aldehyde on further oxidation use carboxylic acid with the same number of carbon. So primary alcohols on oxidation use aldehydes, which on oxidation use carboxylic acid with the same number of carbons. Alcohol, aldehyde and carboxylic acid, all three contains same number of carbon atoms. Okay. Whereas secondary alcohol on oxidation, first it gives ketone with the same number of carbon atoms. Alcohol and ketone contain same number of carbon atoms, but this ketone on oxidation use carboxylic acid with a less number of carbons. This is the difference. Alcohol give ketone with the same carbons, whereas ketone gives carboxylic acid with a less number of carbon atoms. This is regarding oxidation of secondary alcohol. Now come to tertiary alcohol. Tertiary alcohol on oxidation gives ketone with a less number of carbon atoms. Ketone contains less carbons than alcohol, and this ketone on further oxidation gives carboxylic acid with less number of carbons than ketone. So this is the difference here. Primary gives aldehydes and carboxylic acid with the same number of carbons. Secondary alcohol give ketone with the same carbons, but alcohol with less number of carbons. Whereas tertiary alcohol gives ketones with less carbons, and this ketone can give carboxylic acid with less than ketone. So based on this, we can distinguish whether a given acid is whether a given alcohol is a primary, secondary or tertiary. Primary same carbons, secondary same carbon with ketone, less carbons with acid. Tertiary less carbon ketone, still less carbon carboxylic acid we can get as the products. So by using this reaction, we can distinguish primary, secondary and even tertiary alcohols. So this is regarding oxidation of alcohols. Now let us say some other distinguished test. Right. So distinguish test between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. First one, Lucas test. So this is an important reaction. They are asking this Lucas test in PUC exam as well as in the practical Viva questions. This is the test to distinguish primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. Let's see Lucas test. First, I'll take Lucas reagent. What is this Lucas reagent? So Lucas reagent is nothing but anhydrous ZnCl2 plus concentrated HCl. Anhydrous ZnCl2 plus concentrated HCl mixture is known as Lucas reagent. Then how this Lucas reagent is used to distinguish primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols? Or OH. General equation I'm taking here. Alcohols when allowed to react with the Lucas reagent. What is this? Concentrated HCl in the presence of anhydrous ZnCl2. Means alcohols react with the concentrated HCl in the presence of anhydrous ZnCl2. Then what happens here? Cl minus replaces OH minus. Then you can get RCl plus H2O. The same we have discussed in the preparation methods of haloalkanes, first preparation method. Alcohol when react with a Lucas reagent, there is mixture of anhydrous ZnCl2 and concentrated HCl. Then we can get a haloalkane plus water mixture. See here, what the haloalkane formed here, this haloalkane is insoluble in water. Since haloalkanes are insoluble in water, it gives a turbidity to the solution. Solution becomes turbid. Based on the appearance of the turbidity, we can distinguish primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. Now, see, if turbidity appears immediately, that is tertiary alcohol. Why turbidity appears means here alcohols when react with HCl, it gives haloalkane plus water. These haloalkanes are insoluble in water. That's why it gives turbidity. If that turbidity appears immediately, the given alcohol is a tertiary alcohol. Suppose if turbidity appears after 5 minutes, that is secondary alcohol. If turbidity appears after 5 minutes of the starting reaction, the given alcohol is a secondary alcohol. Now, third case, if no turbidity appears, or turbidity appears only on heating. If no turbidity appears immediately or the turbidity appears only after heating, then the given is primary alcohol. So based on this we can distinguish. To the alcohol, if add the mixture of anhydrous ZnCl2 and concentrated HCl, that is Lucas reagent. If we got turbidity immediately, the given alcohol is tertiary alcohol. If turbidity appears after 5 minutes, that is secondary alcohol. If no turbidity appears or the turbidity appears only on heating, that is primary alcohol. So what is the reason for this? Why tertiary gives turbidity immediately, secondary 5 minutes, and primary on heating is, see the order of reactivity of alcohols. What is order of reactivity of alcohols? Tertiary greater than, secondary greater than primary. This is the order of reactivity of alcohols. Since tertiary alcohols are more reactive, it gives turbidity immediately. Secondary alcohols are less reactive than tertiary, so give turbidity after 5 minutes. Primary alcohols are least reactive, so they will not give turbidity immediately, they give turbidity only on heating. So this is the distinguished test between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols by using a Lucas test. See once, alcohols when treated with Lucas reagent, that is the mixture of N-hydrous ZnCl2 and concentrated HCl. If turbidity appears immediately, that is tertiary alcohol. Turbidity appears after 5 minutes, secondary alcohol. If no turbidity appears or turbidity appears only on heating, that is a primary alcohol. Here the turbidity is due to the insolubility of haloalkane formed here in water. So this is regarding a distinguished test between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. This is one test which is important for PUC as well as for practical exam. And one more test, Victor Meyer's test. So this Victor Meyer's test is not required for PUC exam, but in objective exam they are asking questions based on this. Let us see what this Victor Meyer test is. So I'll take primary alcohols, secondary alcohols and tertiary alcohols. What is general formula of primary alcohol? RCH2OH. Secondary alcohol general formula is RCHOHR. This is secondary alcohol. And tertiary alcohol is RCOHRR. These are the general formulas for primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. First, this alcohol is allowed to react with the mixture of red phosphorus and iodine. Red phosphorus plus I2 in all the three cases. Red phosphorus plus I2. Here also a red phosphorus plus I2. So this red phosphorus react with iodine to form PI3. That PI3 react with alcohol and OH minus replaced by I minus. That means alcohol when react with mixture of red phosphorus and iodine, we can get a iodoalkane RCH2I. Then here also RCHIR. Then here RCIRR. So iodoalkane is formed. And then this is allowed to react with the AgNO2, silver nitrite. As you know, in haloalkanes you have studied, when haloalkanes are allowed to react with the silver nitrite, then we can get a nitroalkane. That means RCH2NO2. Nitroalkane is formed. Then here also same. Just I'll write like here RCHNO2. Then here also we can get RCNO2. So total in these two steps, we just have converted alcohols to alkyl iodide to nitroalkane. And then this nitroalkane is allowed to react with HNO2, nitrous acid. Here also with the HNO2 and here also with HNO2. Right. Now this on reacts with nitrous acid. See, from this alpha carbon 2 hydrogens and this oxygen get eliminated as water. Then we can get RCNO2 single bond, double bond, NOH, which is known as a nitrolic acid. This is called as. Then this here, these two hydrogens and this oxygen get eliminated as water, and we can get a RC. This is NO2 as it is, double bond NO. This is called as a pseudo nitrol. Whereas here no reaction. because here there is no replaceable hydrogens. See, here there is two replaceable hydrogens, here one replaceable hydrogen, here there is no replaceable hydrogen. Since tertiary nitroalkanes does not contain replaceable hydrogens, they cannot react with nitrous acid, and this is called as a nitrolic acid. And this solution is made alkaline by adding NaOH. By making alkaline, this solution gives a red color, means the solution turns to red color. And this made alkaline by adding NaOH, then the solution turns to blue color. The solution turns to blue. And since here there is no reaction, this is colorless compound. This is the Victor-Mayer test. See once again. First, alcohols on reaction with red phosphorus iodine gives iodoalkane. This iodoalkanes on reaction with silver nitride gives nitroalkanes. This nitroalkanes on reaction with nitrous acid followed by alkaline with NaOH. If the solution gives red color or blood red color, that is a primary alcohol. If the solution turns to blue color, that is a secondary alcohol. If the solution cannot have no change in color, because this tertiary nitroalkane what is formed here cannot react with nitrous acid, so solution is colorless only, no change in color. Overall, in Victor-Mayer's test, first on reaction with red phosphorus plus iodine, next with AgNO2, and then with nitrous acid, followed by alkaline with NaOH. Primary alcohols gives a red color or blood red color. Secondary alcohols gives a blue color, whereas tertiary alcohols are colorless. So based on the color change, we can distinguish primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. This is called as Victor-Mayer's test. This is also an important one. This is the second distinguished test between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Right. Now, come to the third test. Dehydrogenation. This is nothing but just what we discussed in yesterday class. There is nothing but dehydrogenation. Let us see here. Primary alcohols are CH2OH on dehydrogenation with copper at 300 degrees Celsius. What you got here? RCHO. Aldehydes are formed. If it is a secondary alcohol, RCHOH. Secondary alcohols gives ketones, RCOR. If it is a tertiary alcohol, like a tertiary butyl alcohol, then this on dehydrogenation gives alkene, does not undergo hydrogenation, it undergo dehydration. This is alkene. This is ketone. This is aldehyde. This is same just what we discussed in the last class. This is the third distinguished test. By dehydrogenation also we can distinguish the primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Primary alcohol on dehydrogenation with the copper at 300 degrees Celsius gives aldehydes, whereas secondary alcohols on dehydrogenation gives ketones. Tertiary alcohols does not undergo dehydrogenation, they undergo dehydration. So dehydration of tertiary alcohols gives alkenes. So this is regarding a third distinguished test. And one more, fourth distinguished test is nothing but oxidation. Just now what we discussed in the today's class only. Oxidation of primary alcohol gives aldehydes and carboxylic acid with same carbons, whereas oxidation of secondary alcohols gives ketone with the same carbon but carboxylic acid with less carbons. Oxidation of tertiary alcohol gives ketone with less carbons, whereas that ketone gives oxidation carboxylic acid with still less carbons than ketone. So these are the four distinguished tests between the primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. So once again, all these four. What is the first test? Lucas test. Low-cost reagent is nothing but the mixture of N-hydrous ZnCl2 and concentrated HCl. When alcohols are treated with low-cost reagent, tertiary alcohols gives immediate turbidity. Secondary alcohol gives turbidity after 5 minutes. Primary alcohols does not give any turbidity. They give turbidity only on heating. This is the first one. Second test, Victor-Meyers test. Primary alcohols gives red color. Secondary alcohols gives blue color. Tertiary alcohols gives no color. It is colorless. Third test, dehydrogenation. Primary alcohols gives aldehydes. Secondary alcohol gives ketone. Tertiary alcohols does not undergo dehydrogenation. They undergo dehydration and use alkenes. Fourth one, oxidation. Primary alcohol gives aldehydes, which on oxidation gives carboxylic acid, all contain same carbons. Secondary alcohols on oxidation gives ketones with the same carbons, which on oxidation gives carboxylic acid with less carbon. Tertiary alcohol on oxidation gives ketone with less carbons. That ketone on further oxidation gives carboxylic acid with less carbons than even ketone. So this is regarding a distinguished test between primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. This is regarding a total preparation and properties regarding alcohols. So we have learned 6 preparation methods. One from alkenes. First one by hydration. Second one by hydroboration oxidation. And third one by oxymercuration demercuration. The second preparation method is from carbonyl compounds. So reduction of carbonyl compounds gives alcohols. Aldehydes gives primary alcohols. Ketones gives secondary alcohols. Next, reduction of carboxylic acids with LiLH gives alcohols. Whereas reduction of esters. Reduction of esters gives carboxylic acids. Reduction of acid chlorides gives carboxylic acids. So this is a second preparation method. Third one from Grignard reagent. Addition of Grignard reagent to formaldehyde followed by hydrolysis gives primary alcohol, whereas addition of Grignard reagent to secondary alcohols, addition of Grignard reagent to other aldehydes followed by hydrolysis gives secondary alcohols. Addition of Grignard reagent to ketones followed by hydrolysis gives tertiary alcohols. So this is the preparation of primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols from Grignard reagent. This is third preparation method. And then fourth one is from ester hydrolysis. Hydrolysis of esters gives the mixture of carboxylic acid and alcohols. That is fourth preparation. Fifth one from amines. Diazotization of aliphatic amines followed by hydrolysis gives primary alcohols. Okay, and next one from haloalkanes. Haloalkanes on reaction with aqueous NaOH or KOH or aqueous moist silver oxide or AzOH gives alcohols. So these are the 6 preparation methods for alcohols. Then what are properties, chemical properties? Chemical properties of alcohols are classified into 3 types. That is reactions involving cleavage of OH bond, reactions involving cleavage of COH bond, reactions involving cleavage of OH as well as alkyl group. Again, in the reactions involving cleavage of OH bond, we discuss regarding reaction with metals. Okay, and then esterification, and one more reaction is there. So those are the preparations. Reaction with cleavage of OH bond, and then reactions involving cleavage of COH bond, means a CO bond. That is nothing but reaction with the halogen acids, reaction with the phosphorus halides, reaction with the thionyl chloride. And third one is reactions involving cleavage of alkyl group as well as hydroxy group. So these are nothing but dehydrogenation or dehydration of alcohols, dehydrogenation of alcohols, and oxidation of alcohols. And finally, today what we discuss is the distinguished list. So this is regarding total the concept of alcohols. Okay, right. Now, the next topic in the same chapter is phenols. So in this chapter there are three topics: alcohols, phenols, and ethers. The first topic you have completed alcohols. Now we'll go for the second topic, phenols. Yeah. See what are phenols. See this phenols are nothing but the hydroxy derivatives of aromatic hydrocarbons. In aromatic hydrocarbon, on aromatic carbon, if replace one or more hydrogen atoms with hydroxy groups, those are nothing but called as phenols. So phenols are nothing but a hydroxy derivatives of aromatic hydrocarbons. Again, the simplest phenol, that means phenol is nothing but a derivative of benzene, which is nothing but C6H5OH. This is the smallest phenol which is known to us. Then, what is the classification of phenols? See, on this benzene ring, you may replace either one OH group or two OH groups or more than two OH groups. So, depending on that number of OH groups substituted on benzene ring, these are further classified into three types. The first one is monohydric phenols. Monohydric phenols. Next one is dihydric phenols. Monohydric phenols, dihydric phenols, and then trihydric phenols. Right. So depending on the number of OH groups substituted on benzene ring, the phenols are classified into three types. They are monohydric phenols, dihydric phenols, and trihydric phenols. Let us say, what are monohydric phenols? On benzene, if you replace one hydrogen by OH group, that is known as phenol. So C6H5OH. On benzene, one hydrogen atom replaced by OH group. So what is the common name and IUPAC name? Here also two systems are there. See, in case of phenol, its a common name as well as IUPAC name, both are same. Phenol is the common name as well as the same phenol is used as IUPAC name. Common name as well as IUPAC name, both are same for phenol, C6H5OH. Let us see some other compounds here. OH, CH3. So here OH group is there, and this is the hydroxy derivative of toluene. And one more, OH, CH3, and then one more, CH3OH. Yeah. See, these are called as crysols, hydroxy derivative of toluene. This hydroxy derivative of toluene is known as cresol, and these two groups are in the position of ortho position. So this is named as orthocresol. This is orthocresol, common name there is. And this is, so here this methyl group is at meta position with respect to this OH group. So this is metacresol, whereas this is paracresol. Orthocresol, metacresol, and paracresol. Right. Now, With respect to this phenolic group, the position of this is first and second position. Okay, so this is nothing but so 1 hydroxy or 2 methyl phenol. This is 2 methyl phenol. This is IUPAC name. This is common name, and this is IUPAC name. Ardocresol, 2 methyl phenol. Paracresol, this is nothing but 3 methyl phenol. Paracresol, which is nothing but 4 methyl phenol. So here this is first position, second position, third position. 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. So these are some examples of monohydric phenols. For example, if a compound is like this, NH2. Now what is the name of this compound? What is the position of this amino group with respect to OH group? Meta position. So this is meta-aminophenol. Meta-aminophenol is common name. And what is the IUPAC name? 1, 2, 3. With respect to OH group, NH2 group is at third position. So this is 3-aminophenol. 3-aminophenol is the IUPAC name. So let us take one more example here for the same. NO2, NO2. So here also one OH group is there, but there are 3 substances and 3 NO2 groups are there. See, the common name of this compound is picric acid. This is the picric acid. So this is an acid. This is an organic acid, but does not contain carboxyl group. This is the carboxylic acid with this is an acid, organic acid without having a COH group. This is called as picric acid, and this picric acid is an yellow color solid which is used as an explosive compound. Then what is the IUPAC name of this compound? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now what is the position of these groups? 2, 4, 6 with respect to OH. So the name is 2, 4, 6 trinitrophenol. 2, 4, 6 trinitrophenol. These are some examples for monohydric phenols. Means the phenols which contains one OH group. Other than that, some other substance may be present. So once again, phenol is the simplest compound, which is named as phenol itself, both in common system as well as IUPAC system. The remaining compounds are named as the derivatives of phenols. So this is a methyl derivative of phenol. So this methyl derivative of phenol is nothing but called as cresol. This is ortho position, ardocresol, meta position, metacresol, para position, paracresol. These are common names. Then what is IUPAC name? With respect to OH, this is at second position. So 2 methyl phenol. This is third position, 3 methyl phenol. This is fourth position, 4 methyl phenol. Let us take some other examples. Here, this is meta position. So meta-aminophenol or 3-aminophenol. Now this is the trinitro derivative of phenol. At what this is called as picric acid, common name. Then what is IUPAC name? 2, 4, 6. At 3 positions NO2 group is there. 2, 4, 6 trinitrophenol. So these are some examples of monohydric phenols. Now come to dihydric phenols. So 3 possibilities are here. Ortho position, para position, meta position, and para position of these 3 OH groups. 2 OH groups. 3 possibilities are there. So 3 dihydric alcohols are there. Now, let us see the common name of this compound. This compound is named as ketol. Ketol is the common name. This is called as resorcinol. These are the common names, what I'm writing here. So this is resorcinol. This is quinol. Quinol or hydroquinone. That also you can write. Quinol or hydroquinone. These are the common names of these compounds. Ketol, resorcinol, quinol. These are the common names. Then what are the IUPAC names? First position, second position. At first and second position, OH groups are there. This is named as 1,2 dihydroxybenzene. 1,2 dihydroxybenzene. In one more way also you can have the same name. Benzene 1,2 diol. So both names are considered as IUPAC names. See, 1,2 dihydroxybenzene. Otherwise, benzene 1,2 diol. So these are the IUPAC names of this compound. Okay, all right. Next, resorcinol. So this is 1,3, same name as this. 1,3 dihydroxybenzene. Otherwise, benzene 1,3 diol. So 1,3 dihydroxybenzene. Same name, just position will be changed. This is first position, second position, and third position. So 1,3 dihydroxybenzene. Otherwise, benzene 1,3 diol. So these are the IUPAC names of this compound. Now let us see. This is quinol. What is the position? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the IUPAC name is 1,4 dihydroxybenzene or benzene 1,4 diol. So 1,4 dihydroxybenzene or benzene 1,4 diol. Okay, so these are the IUPAC names of this dihydric alcohols. So once again, catechol, common name 1,2 dihydroxybenzene or benzene 1,2 diol. These are IUPAC names. Next, resorcinol, common name 1,3 dihydroxybenzene or benzene 1,3 diol. That is IUPAC name. Quinol, or this is also called as hydroxyquinone, and the IUPAC names are 1,4 dihydroxybenzene or benzene 1,4 diol. These are the examples of dihydric alcohols. Sorry, dihydric phenols. Now let's take examples for trihydric phenols. So here also 3 possibilities are there. This is the first one. Second one. This is third one. So 3 possibilities are there. So what is the position here? 1, 2, 3. And the common name of this compound is pyrogalal. Pyrogalal. This pyrogalal has the capacity to absorb oxygen gas. It is used to remove the traces of oxygen. Pyrogalal. Then what is IUPAC name? So 1, 2, 3 trihydroxy benzene. Just similar to this. Here 2 are there, here 3 are there. That is the only difference. 1, 2, 3 trihydroxy benzene. Otherwise, one more name is benzene. Benzene 1, 2, 3 triol. Benzene 1, 2, 3 triol. So these are the names of this compound, first compound. Pyrogalal is common name. 1, 2, 3 trihydroxy benzene. Otherwise, benzene 1, 2, 3 triol. This is IUPAC names. Now, see here, 3 OH groups are there. Suppose this OH group is not there, this is similar to this. Nothing but a quinol. Now, in the quinol, all these 4 positions are identical. Out of these 4 positions, at any position, if you take OH group, now this is named as hydroxyquinol. So the common name is hydroxyquinol. Hydroxyquinol is the common name. Then what is the IUPAC name? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 4 trihydroxybenzene. Otherwise, benzene 1, 2, 4 triol. Either you can write. Now come to this. So 3 OH groups are present in the symmetrical position. This compound is named as a fluoroglycinol. Fluoroglycinol. This is the common name. Fluoroglycinol is the common name. Okay, right. And what is IUPAC name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At first position, third position, and fifth position. So 1, 3, 5 trihydroxybenzene. Otherwise, benzene 1, 3, 5 triol. So this is regarding the nomenclature of phenols. See once again. Phenols are the hydroxy derivatives of aromatic compounds, not only benzene ring here. Hydroxy derivatives of aromatic hydrocarbons is nothing but called as phenol. So hydroxy derivative of benzene is nothing but known as a phenol in both common system as well as IUPAC system. The remaining compounds are named as the derivatives of phenols with respect to their position, ortho, meta and para. Dihydric alcohols. If 2 OH groups are present on the benzene ring, those are named as dihydric phenols. Ortho, meta, para, dihydric phenols. And this is named as a ketol. This is 1, 3 resorcinol, 1, 4 quinol. Trihydric phenols. On the benzene ring, if there is 3 OH groups, that is known as trihydric phenols. Here also 3 possibilities are there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 5. No other possibilities, only 3 possibilities are there. This is 1, 2, 3. This is called as a pyrogalal. This is called as hydroxyquinol, and this is known as fluoroglycinol. See here, not only benzene ring, other compounds also you can take. See here, one example I'll give here. This is, what is the name of this compound? This is nothing but naphthalene. 2 benzene rings are fused. Now here, if you take OH group, so this is called as alpha naphthal. Alpha naphthal. Suppose if the same OH group, instead of that alpha position, you may also take it beta position also. The same OH group is present here now. This is alpha position, this is beta position. Now this is named as beta naphthal. This also comes under phenols, not only benzene derivatives. Any aromatic hydrocarbon derivatives in which one or more hydrogens are replaced by OH groups are called as phenols. With respect to benzene derivatives, these are classified into 3 types: monohydric phenols, dihydric phenols, and trihydric phenols. So this is regarding a classification of phenols as well as the nomenclature of phenols. So in tomorrow class we'll discuss regarding preparation methods of phenols. Okay. That's board also.